Hi, Cedric the Observer. I've been observing the new minister-led government for quite some time, and it is 90 days thereabout since they had come to power. Many people are prepared to evaluate them now, but I think that it's very unfair to even think of evaluating a government that came in the condition that they would have met the Treasury based on the information that was put out and was somewhat substantiated. However, we can't continue excusing them because they took a job that they say they know how to do. We will give them a few more weeks or months or however. The reality is we can see it all around us that things is very tough in this country. They're slow. We have high unemployment, high crime. These are the ingredients to sink a country, to cause a country to go under. So these are the challenges that they have before them. The question is, are they prepared? Now, in looking at some of these men and women already, one can become a bit doubtful, but we should pray for them because the Bahamas is our country and we must do whatever we could to cause it to be a successful and a beautiful place for all Bahamians and visitors to live. Now, there are a few things, major things that confronts us. The F&M government started off with the threats of downgrading. We have had numerous downgrading, but these last downgrading put us in a very unfavorable position for borrowing and to attract investors. However, it is clear that the former government have been shamming the people and had expected and thought and wanted to encourage the new administration to sham the Bahamian people instead of putting to the Bahamian people exactly what the problem is. I believe that with us putting the problem, dealing with the problem as it is, we will begin to seek solutions for our problems, and our lending agencies would know that we have a problem and we are doing and taking the necessary steps to correct it. So they will be more comfortable lending and investors will feel more comfortable coming to the Bahamas. Now, there are some internal matters that we must deal with. Our crime, one, immigration, high unemployment, and one that really would stagnate the growth of one's economy. It is this new number rocket. And I say new number rocket because we've had numbers in our country for many years, but it did not have the effect on the economy as this new form of gambling where people are allowed now and can sit in their living rooms and spin with monies being deducted from their accounts, going to the gambling bosses. One way that I would suggest the government, if they do not have the political will to shut these businesses down, because the reality is shutting the businesses down will have another devastating effect on unemployment in our country. However, we should take the next best step. We should not just sit back and say, oh, it will damage the economy and do nothing. Because if we do nothing, it will have a greater damaging effect on our economy. Gambling in the local web shop form does not add to our economy. What gambling does in the form, it creates a form of entertainment first and fostering an addiction. After persons are addicted, they are no different from drug addicted persons or any other addiction. So they find themselves being hooked, and the only thing that they can think of is to sit before a computer to satisfy their hunger and thirst as just as the cocaine user. And they are not satisfied until all of their monies is gone. Now, for many of them, they have life after gambling. In the case of many, they have children at home, children that look into their faces when they come and say, "Mommy, Daddy, I'm hungry." Mommy and Daddy can only say to them, "Well, I don't have any money." And in many cases tell some story, but their boss didn't pay me this week and all this stuff. So it is going to be the responsibility of the government, because governments are supposed to save people from themselves and take some measures to deal with this. In the absence of shutting down these web shops, the only other real thing that would make sense is to put high taxes on these web shops, causing the government to have a large sum of money, as high as 50% of their gross. Remember, these men did not buy a product to exchange. The only thing that they did to obtain one's money is to trick them into believing that they could play these games and become rich. After persons are hooked to these games, they are no longer interested in having money, because many of them would talk about having large sums of money and continue to play until all of their monies was gone. So what that means is that these games and persons are just feeding a hunger and a thirst, which is gambling. And they are not comfortable until all of their money is gone, leaving them in a very, very stressful condition, which certainly we need no BJCs and GC, will lead to crimes. Some of them will resort to crimes, and some of them will resort to other things such as prostitutions and selling of their products, having to go to the lending agencies where they have loans, giving them stories, giving them pitiful stories, making them believe that things are so bad with them, and people become sympathetic. Our governments, who are totally aware of many of their the government workers who sit to those computers practically all day playing their numbers, particularly the females, and I offer no apology. I say again, particularly the females. Yes, but they are males. We must be prepared to take some tough measures and stop playing, okay? This government will be judged by their performance. And the people had already give the indication in large numbers that they do not want web shops and this level of and type of gambling. However, it was reversed. It was reversed simply because the former government was too much involved with these number of people. Based on the alleged corruption, it is clear if they were to be corrupted with these small players, such as the person who's giving evidence against some of them now, could you imagine how much involvement that they have with these number men? But don't look for these number men to speak out, because criminals do not squeal on criminals. So it's going to be a tough task. However, government should take the steps in dealing with these number houses. There are too many of them in the local areas, and that should be dealt with. They had promised rehabilitation programs that I have not heard about one. Government is taking the brunt of these poor people who find themselves on the social service line. If you would check them, many of them have had jobs from the beginning of time and still are employed. But now they're saying they are underemployed, or the monies that they make isn't enough to take care of their needs. Not so. One of the key problems is managing. Also, government should do whatever they can to encourage good management of persons' resources, and put programs out encouraging people and teaching them the importance of saving and how it helps our economy. Until and unless this number racket is dealt with, the economy will not get any better. It will be like shoveling against the tide, where the government is assisting persons who chooses to go and dump all their monies in these gambling houses. And the good citizens of the Bahamas who pay taxes would be carrying the load. It is high time that the government take a serious look at this and make the necessary steps to, if not correct these mistakes, at least make it more bearable for the Bahamian people. Cedric, the Observer, is out. There's much more to share on these matters, and I hope that you, my listeners, can bear with me to hear some of these, what these matters that we put before them. I'm out.